That is the candle that I carried in my hand 50 years ago almost, when I walked in the aisle of St. Peter's to be ordained by Bishop McManaman. I've cherished the candle ever since. I burned it on my 25th anniversary, on my 40th, and next May I'll burn it again for my 50th. It was a lamp that spread the light of faith and the light of Christ. And our lamps, all of us are to be burning ready, whether they're tall and skinny or little and short. They're like the people of God. You never know when the Lord's going to show up. And I want to share a story with you tonight, because it was a story that began a very good thing for me. I was just 15 years old. I was a sophomore at Cathedral Prep. And I'd been blessed to have a sister of St. Joseph who taught that class, who was as interested in teaching us to pray as she was teaching us Latin. Sister Ramona was a very sensitive and a caring woman. Sometimes the students got to her, but she always tried to teach us to pray in silence, to pray by using our imagination. She was teaching us Ignatian prayer, sophomores. And one day we came to class. It was February the 24th. And this year was 1952. We came to class and there was a buzz going through the sophomore class that something had happened to one of our classmates. And it turned out that Joey Hassett, who was a great player on the freshman JV football team that year, was looking forward to being varsity next year, had appendicitis, and during the night it had burst, and without antibiotics, Joey died. We prayed for him in class. Most of us could remember him as a very quiet guy, sandy blonde hair, stocky, stolid. And so the night after that, we had organized a little group and we went to the funeral home. I'd never been to a funeral home for anybody so young. And it was a terrific contrast between the energy that was in our group, 15-year-olds, pretty much in awe of the 15-year-old who was lying still and cold in the casket. So we were allowed the next day to go to the funeral. It was at St. Anne's, and we walked on a cold February morning from Cathedral Prep all the way out 10th Street to St. Anne's. We went in, and I suppose we were like a herd of kids. There were maybe 30 of us. And we looked like kids too. We looked for the first seat. Well, I moved into a pew. There was already some young man kneeling there. And he kind of moved over a little bit. And I noticed that he was kneeling and his eyes were closed. He was very prayerful. I thought, isn't this cool? So we got there, and as the time for the funeral came, the cortege arrived and they brought Joey in, and he was followed by his family, 3 sisters, and his mother, who was hysterical. Mary Hassett, who sent me a Christmas card every Christmas of her life until she died recently, was screaming Joey's name. He was her baby, he was her prize, he was everything to her. And it was disarming. And from the sacristy came out old Monsignor McBride in black vestments, and the liturgy continued. Mary could not be consoled, and the others were sobbing with her. And all throughout it, this little fella at my right-hand side was poised with his eyes closed and so much deep in prayer. I said, how is he doing this? At a funeral liturgy in those days, it was grim. somber music, black vestments, and no one went to communion. Do you realize that people who call for the good old days of the church have forgotten that when you went to somebody's funeral, you did not receive the sacrament? Only the priest received. And so the Mass came and went. And we ended the Mass, the shrieking, the noise all died down. We walked back to prep that morning through the slush in pretty much silence, thinking. And I got back to school, and then the next night I kept thinking, who was that guy? Who was that guy that I was kneeling with who was so, I almost said angelic, who was so calm, so aware of God? I looked through the yearbooks. I didn't know who it was. I couldn't find him. I looked for him for the next 4 years, several years. Never could see him. I can tell you what he looked like, what he wore. He made a terrific impression on me. And the outcome of it was, I thought, you know, if he can pray like that, why can't I? And I've thought many times, maybe it was Joey's angel. I thought maybe it was my guardian angel. I have no idea who it was, but he made such a prayerful, lasting impression on me that I have never forgotten it. In all the days that followed that, I would find on Sunday morning when all the others went to the early Mass, I could hang around, it was quiet, and I could go to the later Mass because the choir sang and they had the organ, ho, ho, ho. And I would just kneel by the side of my bed when it was quiet and just pray. I was learning prayer and meditation, and I was only 15. Jesus can make himself known to you. You watch and you're waiting because you never know the day or the hour. That's not just the day, the end of the world. That's nonsense. That'll come when it comes, so what? We don't know the day of our death, so what? The day of Christ coming to you and me in prayer can be every day, but we don't know when. At moments like tonight, we put aside all of the racket. The headsets are off with you. Your computer's down. The cell phones are turned off. And we're in quiet because we're waiting for a revelation of God. God can make himself known to you and to me and to all of us, whether we are old or young, and like these candles, any shape or any color. We can find God because he's looking for us. We simply have to calm down, quiet down, and wait. And think of the words that are in the 12th chapter of the letter to the Hebrews. It says, by hospitality, people have entertained angels, and they scarcely realized it. Angels are in your life too. Some of them have very human form, but some of them, who knows? The angel of prayer, the angel of presence from God, is yours to have. Some of us have entertained angels and didn't even know it. Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ, King of endless glory.